Well, people can't wait to get out for this holiday weekend. An estimated 2.5 million are expected to fly over Memorial Day weekend. But the FAA is warning travelers about an increase in bad passenger behavior. Very serious. They say in a typical year, they see up to 150 formal complaints. That number, though, skyrocketed to 2,500. We're not even halfway through 2021. Joining us to talk all about it is Sara Nelson, the International President of the Association of Flight Attendants. And good morning, Sara. Welcome back to BNC.
Good morning. Thank you.
We love having you on. Yeah, because, you know, despite your smiling, beautiful face, there are problems in the air, okay? We reported about the Southwest passenger. This was ugly, Sara. Allegedly knocked the flight attendant's 2 teeth out last Sunday. I mean, can you give us an idea of what else these flight attendants who are just doing their job are facing in the air?
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm smiling because I'm happy to be with you. And I'm happy that we're talking about this because we need to set the record straight here. You know, most people come to the door of our aircraft just wanting a safe, uneventful flight, and we're there to keep everybody safe. And so over the past year, people have been very confused because we have had different messages coming from leadership and even from the President of the United States telling people that wearing a mask and even dealing with this virus is a political issue rather than a public health necessity. And the vast majority of those incidents start over conflict with wearing the mask. So we still have to have people wearing the mask in the skies because we've got children flying with us who can't even get the vaccine. We don't know who's been vaccinated. And so the CDC in this enclosed space says you got to have that mask on everybody, whether you've been vaccinated or not. And we need people to understand that. We're glad that we finally have leadership coming from the White House and from this administration to make it really clear that there are serious consequences if you act out like this and if you fail to comply with crew member instructions. We're trying to just keep everyone safe.
And that's what I'm talking about, Sara, because, you know, we talk about the communication coming from the White House, but the CDC has always said that even when they lifted the mask mandate, you still had to wear it on planes, you had to wear it on buses, public transportation. They tell you this before you take off. When you buy your ticket, they even say something about wearing a mask. So what aren't passengers still getting when it comes to wearing this mask?
Well, like I said, it is, they have been led to believe that this is an issue of conflict, and issues in our society typically bubble up onto the plane, but little problems on a plane can become big problems really fast. You know, we tell everybody you have to wear your seatbelt because clear air turbulence can throw you to the ceiling, you can land on other people and hurt other people. We don't say, if you don't really believe that the seatbelt's going to help you, then it's up to you whether or not to wear it. No, you got to put it on. You got to put on that oxygen mask when it drops down. There are certain rules in aviation. You don't get to bring your gun or your knife. You're going to have to take your shoes off. You're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to go through some process to show that you are safe and secure. And that goes along with your behavior, too. What we see now is that through these conflicts, there is so much pent-up anger. And frankly, people are getting stuck together in these planes because the airline industry demand is just back at about 60%. It's only leisure travel. What that also means is that the vast majority of people kind of don't know what the process is to fly. We're looking forward to having business travelers back because they kind of know what the deal is, and it's helpful to have people who understand the program. But, you know, the conflicts on board and the aggression towards flight attendants has got to stop. People are getting fined. The FAA just fined somebody $63,000 last week, the highest fine ever. And they are facing now a federal felony as well, and they're going to get kicked off. They're not going to be able to fly on our planes anymore. So the airlines are taking action against these people as well. We got to spread the word. Calm down. Calm down, everybody. We have got to get through this pandemic together. We all have to do our part. And in aviation, people have to take safety for granted in order to buy a ticket and fly. So what they're also doing is they're putting my job in jeopardy with this, too. Because if people think this is all that's going on planes, they're going to take a second thought about whether or not they want to buy a ticket.
Yeah, you're right. And it's scary, especially if families want to travel. We had it up on the screen, but, you know, FAA says, listen, there's going to be criminal charges here. You could be facing that. The fines that you mentioned, 35,000 lifetime bans from airlines. I want you to answer if this is enough of a deterrent. And also, you mentioned the anger, Sara. Are people showing up like this? Or perhaps does something need to be done in the air about cocktails flowing? I know that's something that, you know,
Thank
is
you.
talked about
Thank
from
you.
time to
Yes.
time.
Yes. We are telling our companies, and there was a pause on alcohol sales on the planes, but that is starting to come back. We've got alcohol sales in the airports. There was a pause on that too. We believe the government needs to step in here and say, all right, until we get this under control, no more alcohol for anybody. Because in most of these incidents, even though they may start over the conflict with the mask, it's usually alcohol that's involved as well. And that heightens the problem. And so we don't need it. For a couple hours, you can do without a cocktail.
Yeah, look, we need to point out that masks aren't the only issues. We're living in a divided society, a lot of racial tension. You have to deal with those issues as well. But you also have to worry about, the flight attendants and their safety. You don't want to see that happen when that Southwest flight attendant lost 2 teeth, bloodied face with a fight, going back and forth. As a flight attendant, I guess you're taught de-escalation and not to argue. So should we see more air marshals on the flight to deal with this so the flight attendant won't have to actually deal with it herself when they get into an argument back and forth and it leads to this type of altercation?
Well, listen, we would love to see more air marshals on board. We asked for that well before this time. Those air marshals are there to protect the flight deck. They are there to make sure that no one is entering the flight deck and using the plane as a weapon. That's their primary job. So sometimes they don't always step in when there is an initial conflict anyway, even if they are on the plane, because they have to stay ready for the bigger threat, right? So we'd love to see that, but the reality is this is happening right now. And in order to have more air marshals, you got to hire them, you got to train them, you got to get them on the schedule. We need to deal with this right now. So removing that alcohol, getting more aircraft up in the air so that we're not completely jammed in together and we've got no space to deal with. You know, a lot of times when we de-escalate, we will use space. You're going to sit over here and you're going to sit over here. And that's one of the things that we will do. But when we have nowhere else to put people, it really hampers the tools that we have on board to be able to deal with this.
Well, that was awful to see.
We got to go back to
that was awful.
Feeding the passengers too. You know, when you're hungry up in the air too, you get angry. You know what I'm saying? So we need
Sara.
You still playing first class prices and you ain't getting no food. I'm just saying.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Make it gluten-free, Sara. I mean.
I'm telling you, you know what? Not just pretzels and a cookie, but how about some protein, right? We want to get the passengers some protein so that you can feel a little better out there. But we want to give.
Can I get the full can of soda?
You can get the full can of soda. Actually.
Oh my goodness.
Give me a little sip of water and a pretzel. Hey, this is a 5-hour flight. Come on. That little movie and this little pretzel ain't going to do for me. No, on a serious note, stay safe, Sara. We appreciate what you're doing. We got to keep the friendly skies friendly, man. Sara Nelson, International President of the Association of Flight Attendants, thank you for starting your day with us this morning. And you know what? In your face, you are the epitome. You are the poster child for a flight attendant. I have got to say that. You're just that smiling face.
She does look like a beautiful flight attendant.
Just like,
but don't mess with her. Don't mess with her.
Let me just say one more time. The vast majority of people have kindness in their heart and just want to have a safe, uneventful flight. We're smiling for them. Let's promote that. Let's look for the helpers, right?
Yeah. I agree.
Right.
Even when
You're
they're
free
hungry,
to fly
Sara,
around the
even when
country.
they're hungry.
Yes.
Thank you, Sara.
Feed the passengers.
Thank you.
Feed them. Thank you.
All right.
Ask about the food.
You take care.